Mind's Desire has changed the way that we build Storm decklists, and in today's video, we're going gold! We're playing Mana Confluence, Prismatic Ending, and Silence, all 5 colors. Let's go look at that deck list. Why would you want to be 5 colors? Have you looked at the Legacy metagame? It makes perfect sense. There's really 3 decks in the format. You have Grixis Delver, Death Shadow, and Lands. Our deck is usually fairly good against the blue decks. However, Lands has adapted to play main deck Sphere Resistance. The best card to beat those taxing effects is actually Prismatic Ending. Due to the X nature of the spell, you can actually cast it for 2 mana and exile a Sphere of Resistance. Same thing with Thalia. It's also the best answer to Deafening Silence. On top of Prismatic Ending being terrific there, you gain Silence, a spell that naturally beats Mindbreak Trap on its own. You might be thinking that this is a meme. It's absolutely not. I will explain this deck list further in the video, but I'm going to try something different today. The analytics show that people don't watch the deck tech, so instead of monologuing in front of a camera, we're going to hop on into match number 1, and I'll talk about the changes throughout this league. So I will see you in the first match. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, early access to videos, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, such as theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to the first match. We are on the play, and I've faced our opponent a bunch of different times. They're usually someone that switches decks quite frequently. I'm not really sure what they're playing today, but it's usually something blue. Sometimes it's been Initiative, but usually blue decks. Here we've opened up a hand that doesn't have a black source for this Wishclaw Talisman, no protection spell. I think we can do better. We'll mulligan. Alright, well this was not ideal. We have gone to 6 cards and now we have no lands. We're going to 5. Yikes. I will go to 4. This hand is the best thing we've seen, but it's still all not that great. So I think with a hand like this, you're supposed to just hope for the best. And that means that we're going to need to draw an artifact or a land. And it looks like they're on Rhinos. So a deck with tons of interaction, and we've mulliganed to 4. Oh no, they're on Creative Technique. Okay. So that's actually a good sign for us. We can just pass the turn here. We don't even need to play out our artifacts. So let's talk about some of the changes. So in the deck tech, the very short deck tech, I talked about Prismatic Ending. And that's because it's the best card for answering Deafening Silence, Thalia, and Sphere effects. And one of the, brutal draw. Brutal draw. One of the downsides of the pulverized plan that we had for Chalices previously, this is probably our last turn to draw a land or an artifact here, was that against lands, perfect draw. Against lands, they are a deck that, am I trying to say here? It's very difficult to play and talk. They're a deck that has Wasteland, and when you're trying to pulverize them, they're really good at finding it with crop rotation and everything else. So it's just kind of a risky plan. Here we have 5 mana, we're 1 short of Mind's Desire. So I believe that we're supposed to Echo. And just getting Wastelanded with Pulverize when they're the premier prison deck of the format wasn't ideal. So I started talking to Alex McKinley and Jordan Cream of the Epic Storm team about what we should be doing. And we've decided that we wanted to go 5 color because it gives you a little bit of everything. And maybe that was what we wanted. Silence is a really interesting find here because we can use it to time walk the opponent. And Prismatic Ending has just been so good so far, but the problem with the Prismatic Endings is that they don't answer Leyline of the Void, and we're a triple Echo deck now, so we felt priced into playing Chain of Vapor. Okay, that was pretty good. We can put back Veil of Summer and the Silence. No, we should probably put back Chrome Mox Veil of Summer, because otherwise I have cards I can't imprint. So we ended up putting the Chain of Vapors back in, which was a problem that we solved because we tried to play the deck without the Chain of Vapors, and we just kept on losing to ley lines over and over again, and it just wasn't ideal. So we put the chains back in, everything's been good. We noticed that Abrupt Decay wasn't what we wanted in those matchups because like Pulverize, you kind of just get wasted out of the game. and then you lose. So Abrupt Decay is really only for the blue decks at this point. And we have one game number one while I terribly tell you about the changes to the deck list. All right, so I guess you can board in the Thoughtseize over the Relay. Relay's not great in this matchup anyway. All right, let's submit this, and let's see if it'll let me. I don't like pile view, so let's switch back to card view. There we go. All right, so we also, like, the Abrupt Decay is just for the control decks now. Like, you can board it in other matchups, but it's not really what it's there for. I tweeted today and posted to Twitter, obviously, because I tweeted, but I also posted this YouTube channel about Cut to Ribbons. It's so good. So this has replaced Grapeshot. The big reason why is the One Ring. We wanted a way to be able to beat the One Ring, which isn't necessary. You could still play Grapeshot, and I think that's actually just fine. I consider not playing this altogether and just playing the Grapeshot anyway. But I think that Cut to Ribbons provides enough of an advantage where it's worth it. So Grapeshot is really for answering creatures and beating Veil of Summer. Like, that's what it's there for. Cut to Ribbons does the same. And what Cut to Ribbons also does is it beats the One Ring. So you can obviously, you know, cast Ribbons from the graveyard, discard it to your Lion's Eye Diamond, make 20 mana and do it. But how you actually do it is that you can loop Mind's Desire and Echo of Aeon. So you would want 2 Echoes and 1 Desire. And you can actually cast your entire library over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Our opponent's kept 7. We're like a Dark Ritual away with this hand, and I boarded in the Thoughtseize. I think I'm going to mulligan. I'll keep this one, and we'll bottom the Veil of Summer. So basically, the idea is that you can cast your entire deck over and over again, creating infinite mana and infinite storm, and then ribbons them. And it does everything that Grapeshot does, but it also, on top of everything that Grapeshot does, is it answers Archon of Emeria out of the Wish board, which is something that we've never been able to do. So pretty happy with that change. I guess the only thing it really doesn't do is answer Planeswalkers, but it's not like we Burning Wish for Grapeshot to answer Planeswalkers altogether. In the thousands of matches that I've played of the Epic Storm, I could probably count on one hand the number of times I got to kill a Karn the Great Creator with it. Okay, we did not draw the card here, so we're going to pass. So one difference between Creative Technique now and previously is that we have Silence in our deck. Did they miss? It looks like they missed. Wow. So if they demonstrate the Creative Technique, we could draw into Silence and stop them from winning. Any card that imprints here gives us the ability to cast Mind's Desire. Draw. Instead, we drew a land. That's a bummer. We're probably dead now. 1 mana short. Okay. We're going to need to get lucky and flip into that. Hold on, you don't have anything? So they must have Tybalt's Trickery in hand? Like, I don't know what you would have if you didn't win here. Post-combat throws. That's interesting. I mean, they might be on a weird build that I haven't seen yet. They hit a Maelstrom Wanderer. Okay. This finds Boarding Party. I mean, I guess they could always just hit the Emrakul, right? We're going to fetch here, because if I get it, slightly increases my odds of flipping one of the 2 copies of Silence. Okay, Creative Technique. They did not demonstrate. Okay. I'm just going to hit the F6 key and allow them to combo. I guess I can chat more about the deck list changes. So, Silence has been very good against Mindbreak Trap, but it's also very good against other combo decks as well. And I've just been a really big fan of Silence in general. Time walking other decks, stuff like that. And it looks like they found their Emrakul, unfortunately. So we have lost this game. And I haven't played Goldlands since 2014, so it's almost been a full decade. Today we're playing Mana Confluence. You might be wondering, why aren't you playing Gemstone Mine? We're a deck that no longer cares as much about its life total. That's the real reason. Like, we're not an Ad Nauseam deck anymore, so having the ability to tap our land 3 times is just more valuable than the life points. You might have noticed that we also only have 1 copy of Galvanic Relay. This hand's close. Wishclaw, Talisman, or LED make it go bananas. Taiga's a little awkward. This hand's essentially a mulligan to 6 already. Double Echo is not ideal. We'll take an actual mulligan, and this hand is so much better. We'll bottom the Volcanic. Oh, the Galvanic Relay change. So we ended up going down to 1 Galvanic Relay. Basically, we needed to find a way to go up to 12 lands again. But on top of that, Relay was becoming a little bit awkward. And I think I'm just going to play Lango here. It was becoming a little awkward because, like, Relay in our previous list was, like, the best card in the deck. Like, I was all on Galvanic Relay, Team Relay all the way. But something that happened was we added 6. Oh, that was a terrible draw. Should I pass here? I mean, I risk dying. But if I pass and untap, I have a Desire. It's Desire versus Echo here. I'm willing to bank on them not having it. So we'll pass. I mean, I'm challenging them to not have the turn 2. Okay, that's step 1. Now they're passing. So they could have a Tybalt's Trickery. Another Diamond. So we can beat Trickery now, too. Let's play the Dark Ritual. Lion's Eye Diamond. Sorry. What was I saying about the relay? So we added 6 mana blue cards to our deck, and we had a number of failed relays. That's just the reality of the situation. And it was because of the cards we added. And I think that Relay is still a very good card in the deck, but we don't want it to be a focus anymore. And instead of playing Relay, we could add protection spells and consistency into the deck so we're better at casting Mind's Desire and Echo of Aeon. Okay, and I will now activate the Wish Claw. This is going to be a Mind's Desire for 6. Let's go. We do have to consider Tybalt's Trickery. That is a card that they could have, but countering Desires usually isn't the best thing. Lotus Petal. Dark Ritual. We need a payoff, or 2. Another Lotus Petal. Veil of Summer. So that stops Tybalt's Trickery, but I need an action spell. It's gotta be this. Let's go. Echo of Aeons. Dark Ritual. Alex McKinley has done the math, and you're 75% to hit on a Desire for 5. So this Desire for 6, obviously it looked a little dicey there, but we were very favored to hit. We'll cast the Veil of Summer, so that way we don't have to care about Tybalt's Trickery. The Veil of Summer is resolved. We'll now sacrifice this for blue and cast the Echo. So I don't have to pay the mana cost. I would just rather have 6 mana floating. We found another copy of Mind's Desire. I love it. And another Desire. Maybe this game I'll show you how the cut... If our opponent doesn't concede, I'll show you the cut to ribbons win. Alright, so then we'll cast another copy of Dark Ritual. Alright, that is resolved. We'll now tap the Opal. Play another Opal. Sweet. And now we will Mind's Desire for 17 copies. I asked our opponent if they would be gracious enough to allow me to demonstrate the cut to ribbons win, and they were totally down. So thank you to our opponent, Steve MLP, for being a good sport. I just want to show everyone that it's actually very easy to get up to lethal cut to ribbons. The biggest factor when playing online is actually the round clock, because you have to click through all of the desires. With a couple desires left, we'll cast Brainstorm here. Put this... I guess we could put those 2 back in the deck. And now we'll Brainstorm again. Put these 2 back in. We flipped another Desire. Rite of Flame. Rite of Flame. Turn count incredibly high right now. Mox Opal. Chrome Mox. And now we can Desire for the rest of our deck. So we have 24 cards left in our deck. This will exile literally everything. Okay. So at this point, we can play out a bunch of spells. 1 Lion's Eye Diamond, 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds, another Diamond, Rite of Flame. So you do have to get up to 22 mana. And I think we might actually be able to do it here without even casting the Echo of Aeons. In my tweet today, in my YouTube post, I talked about using Echo of Aeons to loop Desires, which you can do. But I believe that right now we currently have so much mana, we don't even need to do that. So we will now cast the Burning Wish. Yes. Grab the cut to ribbons. We have 20-something mana floating already, so I can just now discard that card to the Lion's Eye Diamond, sack some diamonds, and I definitely have more than 22 mana. So now we just keep on clicking until it's enough to make our opponent dead. So if you're playing in paper, you can actually get to a point where you announce an infinite loop, and that will work. But when you're playing on Magic Online, it's not really an option. So this Cut to Ribbons is currently for 29 life. We have cut our opponent for 29. That was not very difficult. It's super easy to beat Veil of Summer or the One Ring with this card. That was match number 1, and we are 1-0. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Alright, time for round number 2. We're on the draw against Pavement is Rad 7. I have played them 3 other times and they've always been Death and Taxes. In fact, Yorion helps us know that. So we've opened up a hand that doesn't really do anything meaningful on the first few turns. We'll mulligan. But a change recently between these Death and Taxes lists is they're often on 4 main deck copies of Thoughtseize, so if you mulligan into Oblivion, you can be punished. Here, our hand just... it's too slow. I mean, technically we have a Burning Wish for Prismatic Ending, but I don't think that's good enough. We'll go to 5. I'm gonna go to 4. Here we go. This is great. So we will keep bottom Echo, land, and a Chrome Mox. Let's party. Alright, Pavement is Rad. Turn 1 Caracas. Big fan of not turn 1 Thoughtseize. We draw another land. I mean, I guess I could have kept the Chrome Mox instead of the land. Hope that doesn't bite me in the tuchus. Alright, flashback this Echo. And it's all mana. I guess my decision did not matter. We'll pass the turn. We need to hope our opponent did not draw into Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Grapeshot Import into Aether Vial. So a meaningful difference between Mana Confluence and City of Brass, by the way, is that, 1, Grapeshot Import doesn't make you take damage. That was always a laughing joke from the era that I played City of Brass in. But also, people more commonly in today's era play Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, as well as Yavimaya, Cradle of whatever, to make your lanes tap for either black or green. Mana Confluence is just better. I'm aware that you could theoretically put... ooh, Spirit was good here. Put... like a Storm Trigger on the stack with the city, whatever. Like, that's a pipe dream that people just like to fantasize about. Mana Confluence is actually better. And we've drawn 2 more duds after our failed Echo of Aeons. Not ideal. Mind's Desire is currently our best card, and it's not even close. I would love to draw a Burning Wish or just Mind's Desire itself. That would be great. Opponent has 6 cards in hand. 5 after the land. Alright. So they still have a Vial. We're not out of this yet. Now they'll use their Port to tap our land. Come on, Desire. Silence. Okay. Oh! That's my own fault. Now they're using the Vial. They put in Lion Sash. I'll discard the Chrome Mox, I guess. My fault. I was supposed to play out an artifact here, and I just didn't. Discard the Chrome Mox. I'm going to put a stop in their draw step, because this way I get to know if they up their Vial. And they did, and now I can silence them. And then I'll remove the stop, and now our opponent, if they were to draw a Thalia, can't play it. Deck, I am begging you. Please, give me Burning Wish or Mind's Desire. They have played their land. I believe Wishclaw might even do it. Yeah, Wishclaw definitely does it. Like, I have a bunch of draws here that could win the game. They pump up their Lion Sash, so now they can attack for 5. I will fall to 11. Our opponent activates their Aether Vial on my land. Okay. And now they can port, so they cut me down to 1 land, which is a good play by our opponent. The thing is, I don't need more. I just need Desire. Here we go. Ding! I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love this moment so much I want to marry it, or whatever Dr. Cox says in Scrubs. Make little baby moments with this moment. Alright, Dark Ritual. Mox Opal. Alright, and now we'll tap this Opal for blue. Play this Opal. Tap that Opal for blue. I guess I can sacrifice a Lotus Petal here instead of taking a damage. We'll cast Rite of Flame. And now this will be a Mind's Desire for 7. Hold up. I must have tapped wrong. You know what? I'm going to keep my Lotus Petal. Alright, Desire for 7. If I lose by 1 point of damage because I didn't sacrifice a Lotus Petal, so be it. Dark Ritual. There is a Spirit of the Labyrinth in play. This Brainstorm doesn't do anything. Burning Wish wins the game. Okay. Good deal. And another Burning Wish. Rite of Flame. Wish Claw. There's all of our action we were waiting for the whole game. And another Burning Wish. Okay, so we'll play Rite of Flame here. There is a Lion Sash, so they can reduce the value of this Rite of Flame by 1. And they do. Cast a Dark Ritual. These are all free due to Mind's Desire. We'll grab a Burning Wish. Retrieve Tendrils of Agony, Burning Wish. And at this point, we're just getting our Storm count so high that I don't lose to Solitude plus Swords. Thoughtseize. Burning Wish. And our opponent has conceded. So that was game number 1. Prismatic Ending. We want to bring in the Cut to Ribbons because it's a win con that allows us to answer creatures, but also if we get hit by a surgical on our Burning Wish, it's not the end of the world. And then we want some Chain of Vapors. With having 2 Silence in the deck, I don't know how I feel about it. I haven't played this matchup a ton since adding in the second one, but you don't necessarily need to have both. They do allow you to beat Mind Break, though, and not having to search for it is pretty nice. I pretty much always leave 1 Prismatic Ending in the sideboard. It's just, like, it's a great wish target. Previously, when I created the deck list, I had the 3 Galvanic Relay in the main deck, and then that's changed. Now our board mapping appears to be a tiny bit off, because I'm at 62. Maybe I'll board out 1 Silence and keep 1. And then maybe 1 Desire? Is that crazy? Let's try it. I feel like Desire is not great in these matchups. Like, it's fine, and you want to Desire into other Desires. It's one of the best things you can do. But drawing them early is pretty terrible. So, we'll see how 2 goes. I might get punished for boarding 1 out here. Game number 2. We're on the draw. I've opened up both Chain of Vapor and the Cut to Ribbons. We will keep this. I like reactive hands when on the draw. Obviously, you can keep the turn 1 Echo hands, but they just don't do as much. And also, our opponent has a Grafdigger's Cage. How about that? We have the Chain of Vapor, but we need to find our payoffs at this point. We'll just lead on a Bloodstained Mire. No need to do anything else, and we can pass. They play a Wasteland. Okay. Into Spirit of the Labyrinth. I'm going to respond and cast this Brainstorm. Alright, let's see what it reveals. Another Chain of Vapor and another Chrome Mox. We don't need those. I'll put those on top. Alright, so we're drawing a Chrome Mox here. I'll play the Bloodstained Mire. And let's search out... We don't have any green cards in the deck, so let's grab Volcanic Island. And we'll just kill the Spirit. Pass the turn. The 2 Chain of Vapors will buy us some time here. They go after our... I mean, I'm fine with them wasting. Like, we just need time. Stoneforge, that's okay. They grab a Cauldron. Okay. Works for me. Draw. Another Mana Confluence. We will play a land and pass the turn. We're going to allow them to activate the Stoneforge, and then we're going to bounce the Germ token. They play a basic Plains. Mana Confluence gone. Now they are activating the Stoneforge Mystic. The Cauldron Living Weapon trigger happens. They create a 5/5. We'll allow them to go to the beginning of combat, and then we'll bounce the Germ itself. What our opponent could do here is sacrifice their Plains and then bounce the Cauldron, and they don't. Draw. Mind's Desire. So we can cast that for 4. I'm kind of tempted. I'll take 1 here, play the Dark Ritual. I did board out a Mind's Desire, so this could bite me in the butt. Imprint the Chain of Vapor. Blue, blue. And then we have to sacrifice the Lotus Petal, our 4th spell of the turn, Mind's Desire. Dark Ritual. Prismatic Ending. Not great here. A Scrubland. And another Desire. Yes! We hit the other Desire. That was a little bit lucky. Alright, we will Ending. I cannot afford to pay. Yeah, it doesn't let me pay. I didn't think it did, but I just wanted to check. Alright, so it's not going to exile the cage. You can't pay colors into it, but we're allowed to cast it. And now we have a desire for 7. We flip an Echo, which is great. And another Echo. Wonderful. Dark Ritual. Play a Mox Opal. Let's Brainstorm. These are great. Put those back. Lion's Eye Diamond. Tap this for mana. Sacrifice. Cast Burning Wish. Firm is now 12. And we can just cast the Tendrils. Alright, just like that, we are now 2-0. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3, we're on the draw. I have no clue what our opponent's playing, but their Goldfish history has a lot of shop stacks in Vintage. Here we have Burning Wish into Prismatic Ending. I'm going to put them on a Prison deck and we'll see how it goes. I don't know if I actually love this hand, but I think it's worth trying out. Having 3 lands versus the Prison decks is just good to begin with, and we have the answer. Burning Catacombs, I'm not sure what this is quite yet. It could be Reanimator, it could be lands, or Newton Elves, whatever we'd like to call that deck. They find an Endurance. That's fine with me. This hand's a little bit slow. Veil of Summer, okay. We'll play the Bloodstained Mire and just pass the turn. They play another Verdant Catacombs and then quickly activate it for a basic forest. They're getting in there. We'll follow the 19 life. They just pass. Take a draw. Rite of Flame. I'm just going to play the Confluence and pass. I could play Burning Wish here, but I want to hold open the Veil of Summer. I don't know if they're actually Turbo Depths or not yet. I mean, Endurance in that deck isn't the craziest thing, so I'm choosing to protect my hand. Next turn, I can always Burning Wish for Prismatic Ending or whatever as well. I'm now at 16 life. They have Endurance in their hand that they can flash in here. Dark Ritual. Okay, I think I might ending this Reclaimer. We're 1 mana off from a Mind's Desire next turn. Grab the ending. I'll go to 13. We will ending the Elvish Reclaimer. Pass the turn. Here's the Endurance. Okay. They play land number 4. They have 4 cards in their hand. Green Sun Zenith for 0. They attack with the Endurance. We'll fall to 10. Another Veil of Summer. What to do, what to do, what to do? I think I'm going to pass. I'm dead to Natural Order for Craterhoof Behemoth, assuming that's what they're playing. But I don't think like another Burning Wish on Prismatic Ending is the move here. They play Wooded Foothills. They grab another Dryad Arbor. And there's the Natural Order. Yep. We just drew dead this game. Unfortunate. Okay. I mean, there's still more games to be played here. We definitely want the Prismatic Ending. Chain of Vapor. I don't hate the Cut to Ribbons either. Board Out Relay. They are a deck that boards into Thoughtseize, but I don't think you're supposed to keep those cards in the deck. Like, you just want to be proactive. And what you really lose to is Collector Oof, so overloading on removal is exactly what you want to be doing. And I will submit. Like I mentioned, Abrupt Decay at this point is pretty much just for the control matchups. And it's so slow. Mulligan. This hand is very good. This is a turn 2 Peer into the Abyss. I mean, it's also just a turn 1 Echo, but what to bottom? I think the Taiga? Depends on how risky you want to go. I think I'll do the Burning Wish. It would really punish me if they went turn 1 Leyline of the Void. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Burning Wish on the bottom also protects you from Endurance. Not Endurance, Surgical Extraction. We'll crack for blue. Crack for red. And now we will flash back Echo of Aeons. Storm 4. That happened. Okay. Let's cast Brainstorm. Storm is 5. That was pretty good. Put 2 lands back on top of our deck. We'll cast a Rite of Flame. Firm is 6. Lotus Petal will be 7. Lotus Petal will be 8. Burning Wish will be 9. Tendrils of Agony will be 10. Sweet. Target you. Off to game number 3. No changes, our deck was perfect. Resubmit. Yikes, this hand is very slow. We'll take a mulligan. So this hand could be a turn 1 empty, or a relay. I'd probably bottom the Volcanic Island. Let's hope for no turn 1 Thoughtseize. Once upon a time. They find Gaddock Teeg. I don't like that. Gaddock Teeg is particularly good against us because we're a Prismatic Ending build. And they have a turn 1 Thoughtseize too. Brutal! That is backbreaking. They took your Chrome Mox. Really? Okay. Come on, Artifact. Or land. Instead, we draw the Prismatic Ending that won't answer the Collector Oof. Or, I'm sorry, that won't answer the Gaddock Teeg. And I don't have enough mana to relay out of the board. I'm 1 mana short, so we have to pass. Gaddock Teeg being the perfect answer here. Another Thoughtseize. Come on, take the ending. They went after Lotus Petal. Very odd. Maybe they don't have a white source. Dark Ritual, that doesn't do it. We have to pass. And there's their white source. Fiend Artisan. They just don't care about this Gaddock Teeg, I guess. Play the Underground Sea, will pass. They have to have a fetchable white source, right? They attack with Dryad Arbor. They're at 14. What are you getting here? It's a 1 mana value creature. Oh no, it's my bad. I'm sorry. I was thinking that it went up. That's not accurate. So we have the Prismatic Ending here. If I can just draw a Mana Confluence or a fetch land. Instead we draw another Mox Opal. I have to pass. Ignoble Hierarch. They swing 3. I think I might be able to win through the Collector Roof if I just draw a red land. Yeah, because this is 7. I think I can just Tendrils for 14. Alright, well this would be my last window because they just got Noble Hierarch. Come on, red land, red land, red land. Lotus Petal. Why are you like this deck? Okay. Disappointment. And they have a Thoughtseize. They take Dark Ritual. There's the Teeg. Okay, so we're taking 5 here. I go to 11. Another ending. Our draws have not been good. And they have enough to Crater Hoof. Okay. That is the match. So unfortunately, we kind of drew duds. Like duds in 2 of the 3 games. Variance happens. No need to be upset. We're now 2-1 with 2 matches left to go. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. We're back at it for redemption in the 4th match, looking for a win. Our opponent's last couple decks have all been Yorion control decks, so our opponent is an 80 card deck. They're about to reveal their companion, but I don't believe that they're actually on Death and Taxes today. We've opened up a hand that would be amazing against Death and Taxes, though, so we'll keep. But right now, we're not focusing on them being D&T because they're likely a control deck. Lotus Petal. Lion's Eye Diamond. Mox Opal. We'll brainstorm here. We have 5 1-mana protection spells that we would like to find, and we found one. Sweet. Put back Echo Law. Play Mana Confluence. Let's Veil of Summer. Want some of that summertime magic. Add 3 blue. Flashback Echo of Aeon. Storm 6. Ooh. That is not ideal. We now have to pass. So the one upside of this is if I ever draw Mind's Desire, we will be able to cast it. But yeah, I mean, I've had so much success with these lists and echoes. Like this league has not been the norm. Let me tell you that, because like you are so threat dense with this list. You have 3 echoes, you have 3 desires, you have a relay, like, and plus the 4 Burning Wish, 4 Wishclaw, Talisman, Brainstorm. You actually have a ton of interaction. So I've actually had the problem of drawing too much interaction in a lot of games. And in tonight's league, it's been all mana. So I don't think that this is normal. I'm not going to let it bother me. We're just going to draw Mind's Desire at some point. Alright, so Wishclaw is fine, but we don't want to just play it into a Prismatic Ending or a counterspell. We want to save that. And apparently we echoed them into, you know, one land. So that's decent for us. They have 7 cards. And they missed, so they're going to discard again. Discards another Swords to Plowshares. We find another Wishclaw. Let's try a Wishclaw. Let's see if it resolves. Our opponent casts a Force of Negation on our Wishclaw. We'll pass the turn. They find land number 2. Still 5 cards in hand. Should I try to jam the Claw here? I mean, if they don't have another Force, we get to jam a Desire. I think I want to risk it. Here we go. And they have another Force pitching to Fairy Time Raveler. We'll pass the turn. 2 forces down. They have 3 cards in their hand. They grab an Underground Sea. Orcish Bowmasters. So this makes our Echoes a little bit more risky, but we'll be okay. They cast a Ponder. We're over a quarter of the way through our deck at this point, so mathematically we should see some more payoff soon. There's their 5th color. 4th Aerlingas. Okay, so they just want the Monarch here. They attack for 2, I'll go to 12. And now they have 1 card plus a random. Come on, deck, give me a payoff, please. There we go. Alright, let's try the 3rd Wishclaw Talisman. You have another Force? You do not, which means that we get to Mind's Desire. Firm's currently 4. Let's cast a Rite of Flame. Mox Opal. I mean, we could probably natural Tendrils too. That said, we do have 4 Burning Wishes in our deck, and this might be silly, and I'm willing to accept that. But if for some reason our opponent's like trying to do something funny, I feel like Desire here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we should just get Burning Wish and Tendrils and not risk it. Yeah, let's just do that. I mean, I think that they would have forced the Claw, so let's just put Tendrils on the stack, and they don't have it. These Tendrils of Agony. Alright, so we probably want the Decay here, and then boarding in a win condition. I like the Tendrils, and then shaving 1 of each Mox. Game number 2, we've opened up a remarkable hand we will keep. This hand is missing a protection spell, but everything else is very good for us. Mox Diamond in their control deck, that's wild. Turn 1 Trop, they have 4 cards left in their hand. Echo of Aeons, don't mind if I do. I'm going to just play the Bloodstained Mire and pass. So they could have turn 1 Orcish Bowmasters here. They don't. Now they're passing with 5 cards. Another Echo, that's interesting. Let's Rite of Flame. We'll fetch. Might as well grab, like, Scrubland here. I guess we technically have more green cards in the deck, but Scrubland gives me black, so we'll grab Scrubland. Wishclaw Talisman. Alright, Lion's Eye Diamond. Lion's Eye Diamond. Mox Opal. So I could Wishclaw for Silence right here, or I can just Desire for 6. I have a feeling our opponent probably has like a Fluster based on how this game is played out. They had 1 Flusterstorm in their last list. What did you keep if you had no interaction for any of this? I feel like it has to be Flusterstorm. So we're going to activate the Wishclaw and grab Silence. Cast Silence. Oh no, it was a Flusterstorm. I can't believe it. I didn't see that coming. I should really take up acting. Alright, they have 4 cards left in their hand. They are a deck with 8 forces in it, so I wouldn't be surprised if they had one here. We'll flashback Echo of Aeons, floating 3 blue. Storm is 8. The Veil of Summer, I don't care about that. Echo. And it resolves! However, I can't cast anything because we have blue mana floating, which is the right color to do when you're a Desire deck, but this just doesn't work, so we have to pass. We did give our opponent a Wishclaw Talisman, so that's a little dangerous here. They Brainstorm. They play a Misty Rainforest, another Mox Diamond. That's really interesting. They use the Misty. 3 mana, is this a 4th Aerlingas? It is. They have 4/1. They have 4 cards in their hand. At the end of their turn, they will drop to 5. I could really use a Brainstorm here. Our hand is so clunky. And we draw Bloodstained Mire. I'm going to attempt a Burning Wish, and let's see if they force it. There is a Mox Diamond hidden underneath my sideboard, just letting you know. They force pitching Brainstorm. I'm going to Veil of Summer. We draw another land. Unfortunate. I think I'm going to just play it safe here and grab an ending. I don't want to get punished by the Wishclaw Talisman that I gave them. They cast a Ponder. Another nice upside here is I can use the Prismatic Ending to just pick off like a Diamond or the Knight to buy time, and then use that spell for our Galvanic Relay as well. This Bloodstained Mire actually doesn't have a target. Every fetchable source is currently in play or in our hand. They attack, we'll fall to 14. They're just going to end step. Draw for turn, another Opal. Play Taiga for turn. I mean, I could relay for 3, but it's pretty unimpressive. Ending the Knight, I guess. Play another Opal. And now we'll Galvanic Relay. I'm not loving my current position. We flooded out here. Our opponent plays the One Ring. We don't care about that. We can beat that using Cut to Ribbons. But first, I need cards that actually allow us to combo. They found a Wasteland. They go after our Mana Confluence. And now they're drawing a card up to 5 cards in hand. And I flipped Abrupt Decay double land. Ay, ay, ay. Green, black. We'll kill the Wishclaw. I think I have to just pass here. Our opponent's running away with this game. One nice thing about Silence, by the way, is people always ask, why do you play Silence over Orange Chant or things like that? Well, 1, getting white in this deck is actually kind of tough. And 2, Silence doesn't target the opponent, which means that it doesn't care about the One Ring's protection. It also doesn't care about Leyline of the Void or anything like, or I'm sorry, Leyline of Sanctity. Our opponent found another Wasteland. We're strapped for mana, and they've just drawn running Wastelands against us. There was a point this game where I felt pretty favored, and that is come and gone. Okay, they're about to drop to 7 using the Monarch token. We need Brainstorm into very good 3 cards. I'm going to pick this one up. We've lost. I'm not going to keep playing it out. I'd rather just go to game 3. So our opponent had the opportunity to Wishclaw that entire game and never did it. I think that they don't have a hate permanent, so I'm going to board out the Abrupt Decay and bring back in Chromox number 4. I also think I'm going to live dangerously and not have the Tendrils. I'm just going to go back to my game 1 configuration. I lost that game because I didn't have mana. I don't want that to happen again. This hand is fine. We'll keep. Game 3 on the play. We're going to play a Bloodstained Mire and just pass the turn. We only have 4 fetch lands in this build, so holding them for your Brainstorms is usually fairly good, and we have a Mana Confluence as our blue source anyway. They have turn 1 Savannah, so that's a pretty strong read that our opponent kept Force of Will or Force of Negation. Echo of Eons is a great draw. Let's cast that Brainstorm. Ouch, 19 life. We don't need Mox Opal, and we don't need this Rite of Flame. We'll get rid of those. Pass the turn. They have a Polluted Delta, okay. Must have been their draw step, or else they would have played that on turn 1. Underground Sea into Ponder. They shuffle. We're going to activate the Bloodstained Mire and go grab Underground Sea. Draw for turn, and it's a Burning Wish. Not bad. Let's play a Wishclaw Talisman, see if it resolves. Force of Negation. Now their opponent's down to 4 cards in hand. 5 with their draw step. They play a Bayou. They currently have 4 cards in their hand. Lion's Eye Diamond was a great draw here. I'm going to be patient. Like, I think that we have the inevitability here, so let's use that to our advantage. They cycle a Lorien Revealed. Sure. Picks up Volcanic Island. The One Ring. Oh, I really, really want this to happen. I want to win through the One Ring on camera. This is what I'm here for. I was born for this moment. Let's do it. They have 3 cards in their hand. Chromox. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Alright, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 mana. Burning Wish for Pier is 9 mana, which means that we have an extra mana here to Wishclaw for Silence. We will grab Silence. Cast it. It is resolved. We will now play the Chrome Mox. This is exactly what I wanted to happen in this video. I am so pumped up right now. That for red. All right, so we will hold control, and then we will sacrifice this for black. Burning Wish on the stack, Storm 6. Yes. Grab that Peer into the Abyss. I am unable to target my opponent, so I guess I'll target myself. Storm 7. I am so... I know my face probably doesn't show it, but I am thrilled right now that this is happening. Tap for a blue. We'll play another Opal. 23 cards left in our deck. We'll tap the Opal again. Play another Opal, Storm 12. Lion's Eye Diamond. Lion's Eye Diamond. Lotus Petal. We'll play Scrubland. Let's play a Chrome Mox. We'll imprint Veil of Summer. And now we can Mind's Desire for most of the rest of our deck. Actually, I'm going to Brainstorm first. Let's put some of these cards back. Like, I don't want Desire Echo in my hand. I actually want those cards in my deck. So I'll cast a Rite of Flame here. And now we can Desire. So this is a Desire for 19. We'll have 3 cards left. And then the last Mind's Desire. Alright, so at this point we will cast a bunch of spells that make mana. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Basically, anything that makes mana we want to put back into the deck. Lion's Eye Diamond. Let's make some more mana here. I'm going to hard cast Echo of Aeve. Or I guess I don't have to cast it. It's from Mind's Desire. So we're going to Echo. More mana. And now we'll Desire the rest of our deck. And this is what I referred to in that post earlier today, is a Desire loop with Echo of Aeon. So you get to the point where you can cast your deck over and over and it's deterministic. You can cast your entire deck. When you're playing on Magic Online, there's infinite clicking because you have to resolve each copy of Mind's Desire, which is not ideal. But in paper, you can just shortcut this and you can cast your deck an infinite number of times and then Tendrils your opponent for infinite or cut to ribbons for him. Alright, so we have now desired away our entire deck. We're going to cast a bunch of spells that make mana. So I recently beat my Storm record, by the way. My friends wanted me to keep going, but I didn't want to click through another copy of Mind's Desire. And they were rather disappointed in me. But I got up to 68 Storm. My previous record before that... No, I'm sorry. 68 was my previous record. I ended up getting up to like 88 or 89 Storm. That's what it was. And they were like, come on, Bryant, you were so close to 100. But I just didn't want to click, because in order to do that, I would have had to cast Mind's Desire for like literally 88 or 89. And I was just like, I really don't want to click through that many copies of Desire again, so I didn't. Alright, I think it's time that we should win the game. Storm 40. Yes. We will grab Cut to Ribbons. And now we will discard our hand. And now we will Aftermath this Cut to Ribbons. Alright, Cut to Ribbons for 50. Boom! Yes! Our opponent draws a card with One Ring. Ribbons for 50. Just the way Chronos created the game. I love it. Alright, we are now 3-1. 1 match left to go. Take that, the One Ring. We have the perfect answer. I'll see you in match number 5. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting your own Magic events with features such as easy-to-create event registration for 4-player and one-on-one Swiss-based games. Event management has never been so simple, and it's done on the web. No downloads are required. You can sign up for $5 by visiting eminence.events/subscribe. The 5th and final round, we're on the draw against Delver Legend Kentaro Hokori. They usually play Grixis. We'll see what they're on tonight. I have no clue, but we've opened up a really good hand. What I would like from this hand at this point is to draw either Veil of Summer or Silence. They've kept 6 cards. They lead on Volcanic Island, so this is likely Grixis, not Death Shadow. They have 5 cards in hand. We draw another Mana Confluence. We're just going to make our land drops and pass. One of the best things you can do against these decks is just don't lose the days. Don't allow days to get you. They play a Brainstorm. Misty Rainforest. For another Volcanic Island into Dragon's Rage Channeler with 4 cards in their hand. Okay, so I think that this is actually a spot where I want to not allow them to dig for a Force of Will, so we're going to you know, maybe play out a claw here. We find the silence. That's amazing. The problem here is that I'm actually a mana short of Mind's Desire because I didn't draw a card to imprint to this Chrome Mox. I'm going to cast the silence. Let's see what they do. They daze. They surveil a Mishra's Bauble. I'll pay for the daze. We might get another daze out of them here. Or a force. We don't. Alright, I'll pass. Another Channeler. They have 4 cards in hand, 3, and a Ponder. So this is pretty likely to find a force. I mean, they get to look at 6 cards here, and they kept the card on top. And their Channelers are Delirious. 3 in hand. They play a Bauble. They get to surveil and dig deeper for another force. They kept another card on top here. That's terrifying. So this turn they kept 2 cards on top and drew them. We find a Desire. I feel like I'm like kind of far off from casting it though. We'll go to 14. Let's play a Wish Claw. Let's see if it even resolves. It does. Alright, Diamond. What about another Diamond? Okay, so they're going to let me Desire here. Will be a Desire for 6, which isn't guaranteed by any means. Black, blue, activate. We have a lot of action in our deck. We only have one other Desire, though. Tap the Chrome, and we will Desire for 6. Let's see it. Lines of Diamond, Dark Ritual. We need action spells. We don't need mana here. Veil of Summer's good. A land. Another Dark Ritual. We bricked. Wow. So disappointing. Alright. We have to pass. I mean, that's just the game. We had our opportunity there and we just missed. We go to 8. They play land 3 and they pass. Okay. We missed our opportunity there. We had a window and the deck, it just didn't go. You might be saying, well, if you had Ad Nauseam in your deck, you would have won. That's making a lot of assumptions that our opponent didn't have anything in hand after they kept on top twice. I'm not sure if I agree with that. Alright, so I actually don't think I like boarding. Like, you can. I don't think it's wrong. But I've been boarding in this matchup and then not liking drawing the Abrupt Decay or the Tendrils. So I've actually just started not boarding at all. I don't know if that's correct or not because you do lose on Thoughtseize on your Burning Wish plus Surgical. You also lose to their 1 of Null Rod, but every time I draw the Abrupt Decay, they don't have their Null Rod, and then I'm stuck with this card that I wished was a Mox, so I'm just looking to avoid. I think that's my honest game plan. And you do have Burning Wish into Prismatic Ending. You're not completely cold. Game number 2, we're on the play. Sure. I mean, this hand's not amazing, but I think it's fine. Play Bloodstained Mire, we will pass. Volcanic into Channeler. Okay. Another Burning Wish. Let's brainstorm. Put back Burning Wish and an Opal. We'll pass back. They brainstorm, surveil with the Channeler. Mills a Scalding Tarn. Another Misty Rainforest. And they're attacking. So they have Underground Sea open at the moment. Delver of Secrets. 5 cards left in their hand. Fetch. Grab Underground Sea. Take a draw. Dark Ritual. Let's play Burning Wish. We could pay for days here. They Force of Will. Pitching days. They have 3 left in their hand. They mill over Mystic Sanctuary. Will pass. Delver of Secrets triggers. They reveal another Force of Will. Kentaro, why are you like this? They play Ponder. Surveils away a Counterbalance. And now they have 6 power in play, 4 cards in hand, one of which is a Force of Will. And I'm at 11. Bloodstained Mire, Wishclaw Talisman, Force of Negation, exiling Force of Will. Alright, pass. And they surveilled Wasteland to the graveyard. Another Ponder. They've been leaving open Volcanic this entire time. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a Pyroblast. They shuffled on the Ponder. They play an Underground Sea. They have 2 cards in their hand. I go to 5. In my upkeep, I will fetch going to 4. Grab Volcanic. Draw. Chrome Mox. Not ideal. I'm sorry, Dark Ritual. I believe I've lost this game. Like, they're so likely to have a Pyroblast or Orcish Bowmasters here. Okay. And then blue, Hardcast Echo. We could actually beat a Bowmasters here, but we have to get very lucky. So how we beat the Bowmasters is that we echo into a Veil of Summer and it resolves. Okay, so we found the Veil, but now we need it to resolve here. I really wish I had an open white source so I could silence first. Veil of Summer? Come on. Let's resolve. Our opponent had another force. They got me here. Okay, so we ultimately finished the league 3-2. We did get to cut the ribbons twice, which was pretty sweet. We lost to the best deck in the format. We put up a fight both games, but ultimately variance happened, at least in game 1. Game 2, Kentaro kind of just did the Delver thing, but we still had a chance at winning. It's just we didn't. And then we lost a match against the Newton Elves, or whatever, Nightmare on Cradle Street, whatever Newton's calling it these days, but we lost against that, where our deck kind of just fizzled out in games 1 and 3. Overall, I'm a big fan of the deck that we played today. Really happy with the changes. Try it out. Let me know what you think. We are discussing possibly going up to a 6th silence effect, so it could be silence number 3, it could be veil number 4. What we cut for it, we're not really sure yet. It could be land number 12. I did kind of flood out a bunch in the leagues tonight, so I could see it actually being land 12. It could also be relay number 2. I'm open to suggestions. We have a flex spot. It's currently a land. It could be something else. No more ranting from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great night, and keep storming. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching today's video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and after you do that, click that join button. It contains all of our membership information, such as access to our members exclusive Discord, members exclusive videos, and the best perk in my opinion, you can watch all of our videos early, 1 to 2 weeks in advance. That way you're always up to date on the latest and greatest content.